Hello and welcome to a very special interview with the Chief Whip of the Congress Party in the Lok Sabha and one of its most senior members in Madhya Pradesh, Jyotiraditya Scindia, for the Wire.in. What does Rahul Gandhi becoming President of the Congress Party mean for India's oldest political party? That's the key issue I shall pursue today with Jyotiraditya Scindia. Mr. Scindia, let's start with Rahul Gandhi's elevation to the Congress presidency. Some people, as you know, have expressed concerns about the way this has happened. For instance, would it have been better if this was a contested election?
Well, Karan, thank you first of all for having me. Any new leadership change portends a new strategy, a new way at looking at things. As far as this change that has started to occur, the ball has started rolling with his nomination yesterday. It was a change that I, for one, as a Congress worker, was looking forward to for the last 8 to 10 months that we've had, you and I have had conversations offline and online about. I do believe that the Congress party is probably the only political party in the country today that runs a rigorous election process for its internal elections as mandated by the Election Commission. The Congress party has appointed a central election authority. The Congress party has had returning officers in place for the last 3 days at the AICC headquarters to receive any nominations that have been submitted. The Congress party has 9,000 delegates in every block, 5,800 blocks in the country. Let me finish. All of them exercising their franchise. So if for anyone, whether it is Mr. Karan Thapar, whether it is Shehzad, whether it is any individual, me, anyone who wants to put their hat in the ring, it is a fully democratic process. Anyone can file nominations.
Except the point being made is that if an election as critical as this is not contested, is it because people are intimidated and scared? Is it because the system discourages contestation?
Not at all.
And that's why people say it would be better if it was contested, doubts would be removed.
Right. So not at all. I do believe that in the Congress's 132-year-old history, there have been many elections that have been contested. There have been many elections that have remained uncontested. That is for the rank and file of the Congress to decide. And we have almost 10 crore workers that are spread across the length and breadth of this country.
Okay, I accept your argument. If no one chooses to contest, that is the right of the rank and file not to contest. And that doesn't in some way weaken, invalidate or remove the importance of this election. Let me put a second argument to you. People say Rahul Gandhi as the sitting vice president has a natural inbuilt advantage. Would it have been preferable for him to step aside from the vice presidency and then contest for the presidency as an ordinary member?
So I put this point to you. That's a debatable issue, but I put this point to you.
You concede it's a debatable issue?
No. I put this point to you, that when you are the vice president of the United States, do you step down from the post of the Vice President of the United States when you contest for the presidency of the United States? And I'm talking about a national election. Here I'm talking about within the party.
But there's a critical difference.
Let me
Rahul Gandhi's problem arises from the fact he's a Gandhi.
Let me finish. I don't think that should be held against him. I don't think that should be held against, because again, you and I are going back to the oft cliched debate in this country about dynasty, right? And you and I have debated this many, many times in the last 15 years that I have been a public servant. Just because I happen to be my father's son, is that a black mark that should be held against me when I go through a fully democratic election in my Lok Sabha with 23 candidates that I fight against, and I emerge either victorious or I get defeated?
There's nothing in terms of form or procedure that requires Rahul Gandhi to step aside from the vice presidency. But because of the concern that he has an inbuilt advantage as a Gandhi, because he is his mother's son and she is the president, would it not have looked better in perception terms if he had stepped aside, then contested? He would have still won and it would probably still been uncontested, but the appearance would have been better.
I don't believe so. I really don't believe so, because him stepping down from vice president and contesting for president, or him remaining as vice president and contesting as president, I don't think that would make a huge difference.
I'll tell you why it might have made a difference, because now, because of the way it's happened, the Prime Minister has gone around and called it a Mughal succession. He said this is dynastic inheritance, it's not a democratic transfer of power. That sort of charge against you could
So
never
two
have been
points
made
I'd like to
if he'd
make.
stepped aside first.
So 2 points I'd like to make. I guarantee you he would have made that charge irrespective of him stepping aside. Point number one. Point number two, I have never seen political debate reach the nadir that unfortunately our current Prime Minister has taken it to. And I refuse to respond to the lows that the current Prime Minister has taken political debate, not only vis-a-vis this election, but across many other factors.
I can understand
No,
your
let-
anger.
let-
Don't respond to the PM.
No, Karan, let me finish. That's point number two. Point number three, I find this so ironic that the Prime Minister of a political party that in its existence has never held a democratically elected election for its internal selections and nominations of its candidates that it has always done, today is talking about intra-party democracy. You tell me, in the BJP's existence, going back to the Jansad, which you are very well aware of, even more than I am, let me finish, has there ever been an election for the post of president of the BJP? Has there ever been an election for the 10-member decision-making body of the
justified
BJP?
in making the point you are about the BJP, because you're suggesting that the BJP criticism is hypocritical. They ought to practice what they preach before they preach it. And you're also right in saying, why should I respond to the Prime Minister because he's dragged the level of discourse down? Respond then not to the Prime Minister, respond to Manishankar Iyer, who, speaking on the 8th of October to ANI in Solan, said, and I want to quote him, only two people can be Congress president, mother or son. And he's clearly suggesting that whether there is a rule about this or not, in terms of Congress perception, the presidency is reserved for the Gandhi family. Is Manishankar Iyer, a Gandhi family loyalist, making the same point? He's making it more discreetly than the PM, but it is exactly the same point. That job is reserved for mother or son.
So again, and I'm a little surprised, you are quoting, and I'm surprised because you are quoting, Karan, because you are normally so thorough about your due diligence. You are quoting very selectively. If you had heard Manishankar Iyer on various debates over the last 2 days, he has very clearly clarified. He has said that unlike the Mughal era, where
that's a different quotation.
Please
forgive me. I'm only interrupting you because that's a different quotation. It is.
If
the Mughal era
patience,
quotation was
Karan,
the ABP television, which was half quoted and out of context.
If you only have the patience to hear me out.
But Mr. Scindia, this was 8th of October.
If you have the patience,
2 months earlier to ANI in Solan.
If you have the patience to hear me out.
But I'm just pointing out you're actually correcting me by referring to something else.
If you have the patience to hear me out. His full quote was the following, which I stand to be corrected, but that's what I understood from what I heard him explaining on TV himself. I wasn't there, so I can't vouch for what he has said.
I'm trying to point out you're making a mistake.
But I'm just telling you, he very clearly said that unlike the Mughal era, where succession went a certain way, in the Congress party, we have an electoral process. But in my opinion, which I'm quoting him, which in his opinion, I certainly believe that as far as Congress presidency is concerned, the election will result in either Mrs. Gandhi being re-elected as the Congress president or Rahul Gandhi being elected, because they are the most popular leaders within the Congress party.
You're correct in saying that this is the full quotation, but I wasn't referring to that quotation. The quotation you're quoting was made to ABP television, and only half of it was picked up by the Prime Minister, the second half wasn't, which is why the Prime Minister quoted Manishankar Iyer out of context. But I'm talking about something very different. I'm talking about what Manishankar Iyer said on the 8th of October to ANI in Solan. There, he didn't have two halves to the argument. There he simply said, and I'm quoting again, only two people can be Congress president, mother or son. And he was saying no one else would be acceptable to the party. And what I'm saying to you by quoting Manishankar Iyer is he's saying in much better terms what the Prime Minister said. Congress has reserved the job for the family. It's the Congress that's done it, not the family, but it's still reserved.
Not really. What he intends to say, and I can't speak for him, I think you must ask him this question, but what I understand that he intends to say is that in terms of the desire of the Congress rank and file, it is either Mrs. Sonia Gandhi should lead us,
or Rahul
Gandhi should
and
lead
no
us.
third person.
But that is the aspiration of the Congress Party. Today, if in the country someone decides that Karan Thapar has to lead us, or Jyotiraditya Scindia has to lead us, that's the aspiration of the people. So you can't contend with that.
Your argument is a bit like pita nahi pilai gayi hai. I don't want the job. The party insists I have to have the job. The Gandhi family says it's not just for us. The party insists it's only for you.
No, that's not the case. If that was the case, then Mr. Rahul Gandhi would not be filing his nomination. Mr. Rahul Gandhi has filed his nomination because he wants to lead the party.
In other words,
I have filed my nomination in Guna as a Lok Sabha candidate because I want to represent Guna.
So let's end this by saying this. You're saying to me, it's not the Gandhi family that has reserved the presidency for itself. Anyone who suggests that is mistaken and wrong. It's the party that insists that only the Gandhis can have it. In other words, the party has reserved the presidency for the Gandhis.
The party rank and file has decided that Rahul Gandhi must lead the Congress party.
Okay, let's move on. So far, we've talked about the process and questions that have been raised about the process that has brought Rahul to the presidency. Let's now look to the future.
Yes.
Rahul Gandhi takes over as Congress president at a time when your party's fortunes are at their lowest ebb ever. You've got 44 seats in the Lok Sabha.
Yes.
You're ruling 6 states, of which one Himachal could be lost in less than 2 weeks' time. What qualities has Rahul Gandhi got that can actually turn the tide for you?
Three things that come to my mind. I think Rahul Gandhi is a person who leads from the front. You have seen that over the last 6 months in Gujarat. He is someone who takes the battle to the opposition. He again has shown that in Gujarat. 6 months ago, it wasn't the environment in Gujarat that you and I were talking about 3 days ago as it is today. Today, the BJP is scampering.
So he's the leader.
So the BJP is putting all its forces nationally in Gujarat. Third, he very clearly is a leader with a long-term outlook and looks at running a marathon. Having said that, I do believe that the next 15 months, the calendar of the next 15 months portends and presents a huge, intense work environment for the Congress party rank and file.
Let me tell you the problem he has. He doesn't have a strong organization either at the center and particularly not at the state level. And secondly, Congress doesn't have as yet, and he needs to find it very quickly, a strong, appealing political message to give the country. How will he tackle these two vacuums?
Those are challenges. I completely agree with you. But in challenges, Karan, there is also opportunities. And I think what you have very eloquently articulated are the challenges that all of us as a unit, not Rahul Gandhi alone, but all of us a unit have to come together and work towards. That's what I was coming to. In the next 15 months, you have 8 states going in for elections. And 3 months after the last bunch of states that go in for elections, you have a Lok Sabha election. So I believe the challenge is twofold. First, you have to articulate a grassroots agenda for the 8 states that are going for elections. So a localized grassroots agenda of your vision for the next 5 years.
And the second?
No, let me finish. Within that, you also have to articulate the leadership in those 8 states. The second is at the same time articulate a national vision for the Lok Sabha election. And I certainly believe that just harping only on anti-incumbency and Karan Thapar's failings are not good enough. We also have to articulate why is it that Karan Thapar should give us his vote? What is it that we will do over the next 5 years?
My problem is this. Rahul's mother as president faced the same challenge. The same 2 tasks remain to be done. She wasn't able to do it for 3.5 years. And I'm only going back to 2014. Why would Rahul be able to do it hereafter in just 18 months?
Well, that only time will tell, but I have confidence in his capability and his ability. He has shown that in Gujarat. Today, the BJP has a run for its money in Gujarat. And I'm confident that he will do the same in the next 15 months.
You have every right to be confident of a new president.
And don't forget, Karan, let me remind you, because I think it's important to look at history. The same conversation that you probably had with regard to Sonia Gandhi ji 15, 17 years ago when she took over as Congress president.
19.
She is the person who has led the Congress party to victory in 2 successive
Which is why I said I'm only
elections.
going back to 2014 when I point out that the challenges we're talking about weren't tackled by her from 2014 till now. Why can Rahul do it now in just 18 months? But as you say, you have confidence,
Yes.
and you have right to be confident in a new leader. Let me then raise 3 other concerns that occur to people now that Rahul is president of the party. First of all, what happens to the old guard? I'm talking about people like Ahmed Patel, Digvijay Singh, Janardhan Dwivedi, Kamal Nath. All of them are general secretaries, but also people at the parliamentary level like Kharge, like Ghulam Nabi Azad, Chidambaram, Kapil Sibal, Anand Sharma. What happens to all of them?
Well, I don't see, I'm actually surprised that you raised this question, because I have always believed, and I'm talking about my experience with the Congress party over the last 30, 35 odd years on the sidelines watching my father, and then the last 15 years myself in terms of being a public servant. The Congress party has always performed as a collective. The Congress party has always concentrated on talent. It does not focus itself on regions. It does not focus itself on age.
So this is not a generation change taking place?
So therefore, I certainly believe, and I certainly hope so, that under the leadership of Rahul Gandhi, any person who has the shamata, the capability, will be utilized in the right manner to be able to become an asset for the Congress party.
Regardless of age?
Absolutely. I've heard this construct so many times that, you know, now it's going to be a washout for the older group and it's going to be the younger group. Why? You will find many people in life, Karan, let me finish, who may be older in age but have the tenacity and the youthfulness and the thinking capability of a new generation person. And you will find many younger people who still don't have the capability to think ahead. So please don't divide the capability of the Congress on this construct.
I'm not dividing the capabilities of Congress, but I'm pointing out something else.
It must be accumulative.
But I'm pointing out something else, that if Rahul Gandhi becoming president doesn't presage a generation change across the Congress hierarchy, then this is just a one-off event and it only concerns one person.
You will see.
It's only if a new generation come in that the reinvigoration that is meant to happen will take place. Now, my question, let me finish the question. Let me finish the question, then you answer.
You do not want me to behave like you.
Will Rahul Gandhi taking over as president lead to people like you, Sachin Pilot, Milind Deora, a younger generation coming to the forefront, not just as general secretaries and CWC members, but also as leaders of the party in both houses of parliament? Because if that doesn't happen, and only one man comes as a young person at the top of the party, but the rest of you still remain in your relatively, and forgive me, I'm not being rude, unimportant positions, then in fact nothing much has changed except for one man from the family, and that's it.
Well, that only time will tell. And because you've asked me a loaded question with me as a vested interest, I will not answer that. But I will say this, that those with capabilities, irrespective of age, will be brought to the fore. I certainly believe that. And those who have probably not shown capability will be assigned to the backbenches.
So there will be some weeding out and there will be some promotion. Some promotion.
Yes, but certainly not on the basis of age.
No, on the basis of talent.
Yes, and capability.
But youth will not be held as a reason to restrain people who are young and talented.
I think that's criminal.
That is criminal.
I think that's
young
criminal.
Talent will blossom.
I'm emphasizing, I think that if that is done, that will be criminal.
I'm so glad to hear you say it so clearly. Let's move to a second concern that people have. Will Rahul Gandhi, given his age...
And also let me ask you, I've been hearing this concept of youth. I don't want to give out my age on your TV show, but I now have...
You're on the pleasant side of 40, let's say.
Yeah, but I now have a son who's 23. You know, so... Not that I want to be counted necessarily on the other side.
Very glad
but till when is this label going to stick with us?
Absolutely. And by the way, to call Rahul Gandhi a youth leader is mistaken. He's 47. He's middle-aged. He's not a young man. He's a middle-aged man. And all of you are no longer young. You're middle-aged. But yet the thinking in your party has been to hold your age against you and not recognize the talent which should have been. And you're saying if that continues, it will be criminal.
I don't think that's...
glad to hear you say
But Karan, I don't think that has been the case. Because please remember this. I became a minister at the age of 37.
And stopped as Minister of State with independent charge. None of you went on to be cabinet ministers, and you'd have been so much better than some who were. But let's not get into that, because I don't want to use you as an example to embarrass you. The point I'm making is established, and you've made it for me. It would be criminal if talent is held back on grounds of alleged youth.
Yes.
Let's come to a second concern. How confident are you that Rahul, because of his age, will get on with your allies like Sharad Pawar and Lalu Yadav, who are definitely a generation older, or with allies like Mamta Banerjee and MK Stalin, who consider themselves much more experienced?
Well, I think you've already seen the forging of those relationships happen over the last 5 to 6 months. I think Rahul Gandhi has established relationships with all these senior leaders.
Including Sharad Pawar?
Including Sharad Pawar. In many of the parties, also Karan, you have seen a generational change. For example, the Samajwadi Party. And I think Rahul and Akhilesh have an excellent relationship. In the National Conference with Omar, again Rahul and Omar have an excellent relationship.
And with Lalu Santejeshwi, they had lunch together in Khan Market.
Yes. So I think you are also seeing change happening in many other political parties.
So if he can't get on with the fathers, he gets
Rahul
on with the sons.
No, but Rahul has established a very, very good working relationship with leaders of all political parties, and mind you, the leaders of the political parties even in Parliament.
My third question, and this is the third concern people have. Once Rahul takes over as Congress president, what would happen to Sonia Gandhi? What role will she play? Because she has been one of the longest serving, most experienced therefore, and definitely in terms of bringing your party back to power, one of the most successful presidents of the Congress party. What role will she play once her son takes over?
She will still be the fulcrum of the UPA.
What does that mean?
Which means that she is today the chairperson of the UPA. I do fervently hope that she will still remain the chairperson of the UPA.
Why do you say fervently hope? Is there any doubt?
No, I certainly do hope so.
Okay. And what else will she play?
And so therefore, in terms of bringing that coalition together on certain issues, I also think she will...
So she will be the prime person handling the allies, not Rahul?
I think along with Rahul.
But
it will
be two people together.
I think so. I think it will be. I can't tell what the future will hold, but I certainly do think so. And also on certain issues, I think the leadership of the Congress party, whether it is Rahul Gandhi or the leaders of the two houses of parliament, will certainly look to her for advice on every single issue.
Will she continue as chairperson of the Congress parliamentary party, or will that job now go to Rahul?
Well, I think that decision will be taken by the Congress party. I don't think it's fair for me to comment, but I think that decision will be taken by the Congress party.
So on that particular post, chairmanship of CPP, we still don't know who will hold the job, whether it be Rahul or his mother.
I think let this election get over first, and then I think other things will become clearer.
Rahul's first test after he becomes president will be the outcome of the Gujarat elections.
Yes.
They're underway at the moment as we speak. There's a poll that's come out in the papers today. Friday it was released by ABP television, yesterday, Thursday evening, which suggests that in terms of vote share, Congress and BJP are exactly identical at 43.
Yes.
And in terms of seat distribution, the BJP at best will get a very marginal majority, somewhere around 90. And you'll be just short of it, somewhere around 84, 85, right?
Yes.
How much confidence do you take from this? And secondly, given that the data for this poll was only accurate up to the 30th of November, i.e. 9 days or 14 days before voting, do you think this development could continue and put Congress in prime position?
Well, I have spent close to a week in Gujarat now, and I have seen a sea change occur in Gujarat compared to the Gujarat election of 2012 and compared to the Gujarat election of 2007. There is, in the rural areas, rampant distress with regard to agriculture. In urban areas, this so-called Gujarat model has completely fallen by the wayside. Health issues, education issues, employment issues, corruption issues across the board. I think Gujarat, the people of Gujarat are looking for change. I do believe that you will have a very surprising outcome in this election.
Does that mean you're expecting to win when you say surprising?
I think there will be a surprising outcome.
But
I don't want to be a psephologist, because I am not one. But I do think, looking at what the grassroots is exhibiting today, you will see a really surprising outcome coming in Gujarat.
I won't ask you for a specific figure. You're a politician, not a psephologist. But when you say the outcome will be very surprising, and I believe those are exact words, are you saying one of two things? That Congress will win, or that Congress will substantially reduce the BJP's majority of 2012 from 115 to something like 100, or maybe even as low as CDS in its poll put out of just about 92, 93. Which of the two are you saying? Reduced majority or an outright win for you?
It's going to be either one of the two, to be totally frank with you. But I think in any event, it's today hanging on knife edge.
If you end up only reducing the BJP's majority,
Euphemistically speaking.
if you end up reducing the BJP's majority, even if it's only reduced substantially, but not winning, will you be disappointed, or will you say that itself is a credible achievement? Which of the two will
At
be
this point of time, I think you will have a surprising outcome. Let me leave it at that.
Okay. One other thing, after he becomes Congress president, will we see a change in Rahul Gandhi's attendance and performance in Parliament? During the course of the 3.5 years of this Parliament, PRS says that his attendance is only 54%. And I'll tell you why that's an issue of concern. Mr. Kharge's attendance is 92%, Mr. Moili's 91%, yours is 80%. The average for lawmakers in Parliament is 80%. Rahul is way below that average at 54%. Will it improve now that he's becoming Congress president?
So I have only one question to ask you in response. What is the Prime Minister's attendance in Parliament?
But would you want to copy the Prime Minister?
The point I'm trying to make is a different point. Unlike my friends in the BJP that believe in hitting below the belt, there are certainly large responsibilities on the Prime Minister of the country. There are large responsibilities on the leader of a pan-national party. Rahul Gandhi has to be touring across the country, and he has been doing that for the last 2.5, 3 years. He is in every single state. So there has to be
a lot of the time he's been holidaying abroad, and that was held against him.
Maybe, but there has to be a balance between the two.
Between holiday and work.
His responsibility as Congress president, wherein he has to tour the whole country, and also being there in Parliament. I think there has to be a balance between the two.
I suppose what I'm asking is, will Rahul Gandhi give the appearance of being more diligent and more hardworking,
well, I think
both in Parliament and as Congress president?
I don't think there is...
With less sabbaticals abroad?
I think if I answer that he will certainly do that, you may think that it's a congressman giving you that answer. I think the past 6 months have shown his hard work, his commitment, his dedication and his diligence towards every single campaign for
and
the
he
Congress
will
party.
Certainly now give that appearance of diligence even more
I
so.
certainly think so.
My last question. Now that he's Congress president, we assume that in 2019, when national elections are held, he will also be your party's prime ministerial candidate.
Yes.
Am I right in that assumption?
Yes, absolutely.
In which case, do you believe the country is ready to accept Rahul Gandhi as prime minister? And I don't want to be offensive, but you're aware that he's been characterized on social media as Pappu. Is the country ready to accept Pappu as prime minister, or has that image of Pappu now fallen by the wayside?
So there has been a dogged concentration by vested interests, namely the BJP, to portray him in a certain light. I think that opinion has changed tremendously, even though efforts are at bay with 1,000 people of the BJP working at it on a daily basis. But I think the impression that people have across the country has changed tremendously about Rahul Gandhi. At the end of the day,
so now
when
Rahul Gandhi,
at the end of the day, when Rahul Gandhi will present himself as the prime ministerial candidate for the coalition in 2019, which I certainly hope he will.
For the coalition, not for Congress alone.
For the Congress party, and I certainly hope so for the coalition.
So he will be
well.
the UPA's candidate as well as Congress.
Well, that's my aspiration. That's certainly my aspiration. I do believe that the people of this nation will vote in a person who believes in tolerance, an aman chain ka vatavaran, an economic growth model that believes in growth bottom up, not top down, a person who believes in equitable growth, and a person who believes in justice for all.
There's no doubt that there is a significant shift taking place in the political mood of the country. And there are many, I don't know how many, but there are many who would want to vote for a change. The problem is, in their mind, they may balk against voting for Congress if it means bringing Rahul Gandhi to power as Prime Minister. Might it not therefore be wise for him to do what his mother did in 2004, which is to say, if Congress wins, I won't be Prime Minister, I will continue as Congress President, but someone else who I will identify suitable and acceptable man or woman from Congress will be Prime Minister. Why not make that announcement now so that those who have a hesitation because of him still vote for Congress and you ensure the change you want?
That decision eventually will be taken 15 months down the road, Karan. But I have given you what my desire would be.
But you said something very important. That decision is one that still has to be taken.
That decision will be taken 15 months down the road,
So
in terms of not as far as the Congress party is concerned, but as far as the UP is concerned. But I've told you what my desire is. My desire is that not only will Rahul Gandhi be the prime ministerial candidate for the Congress party, but also for the UPA.
But the very important thing you're saying that at the end of the day, whether he is prime ministerial candidate for Congress or UPA depends upon a collective decision to be taken in 15 months' time, presumably with your allies and presumably after consulting the party deeply and seriously.
Well, as far as the party is concerned, I am very confident that it is Rahul Gandhi who is going to be the prime ministerial
But
candidate.
the UPAs have to be consulted.
Obviously, they have to be consulted. How can you take a decision like that without consulting your allies? We are not the BJP, Karan.
So there's a possibility that UPA voices may say, look, it may be
I don't
advisable
know.
for him
You
not
don't.
to be.
You don't know, and I don't know. But I have given you my aspiration that I certainly hope he will be also the UPA candidate.
For that very open, honest, and some would say surprisingly honest answer, thank you very much indeed.
Thank you, Karan. Pleasure as always.